What's going on, everyone? You're back with your boy Jono for another quick math lesson. Today we're going to have a look at the concept of hourly pay. How much money do you earn for one shift? This is incredibly important because it will determine how much you should work while you're at school or once you've finished in order to pay the bills that you need to. On top of this, we're going to look at something called special pay. And this is where you get paid extra for working an undesirable shift. And this again is incredibly important to know because you might be able to boost your earnings without having to work as many hours. So a pretty common question is, how much money do you earn? And all we're really talking about with this is how much money or the amount of money you make per a time period. So this could be how much money do you make per year, per month, per week. And in this lesson, we're specifically talking about how much money do you make per hour. Because we're using the word per, we know we're talking about a rate. What is your hourly rate of pay? And most of this is pretty intuitive. So if you earn $20 an hour, how much money do you make for a 4-hour shift? All you've got to do is those $20 and multiply it by the time you did work. 20 times 4 is equal to 80, so you made 80 bucks. And then if you're working a longer shift, 6.5 hours, how much money did you earn? $20 multiplied by 6.5 is equal to 130 bucks. That's how much you're walking home with after that one shift. And this actually works the other way. If we know how much money we made for the shift and someone said how much do you get paid per hour, you just have to do the reverse operation. So instead of multiplication, we're doing divide. So if you earn $90 for a 6-hour shift, you just have to do $90 divided by that 6, and we get the answer of $15 per hour, and that's your hourly wage. The concept of special pay comes from this idea of undesirable shifts. If you work these shifts, you get paid more. The reason for this is if you work on a Saturday, everybody else in society gets that day off, so why should you work? If the company isn't going to pay you more money, they're not going to find people that want to work that shift. So they add a little bonus on for you in order to get enough staff members to work that shift for them so they can still make money. If you didn't have this incentive, that shift just kind of sucks. Why not just go play sports or do stuff with your friends on the weekend? So they need to kind of up the ante for you to get into work. The way that we work out special pay is that we take our original hourly rate and multiply it by the incentive. The incentive is usually 1.5, 2, or 2.5, and we're going to see the language about that in this next example. The common incentives are time and a half, double time, and if you're really lucky, double time and a half. The way we work out what to multiply our hourly wage by comes from what these actually mean. The time is the one thing that we work, so that is 1. And a half means that we're going to add on as another 0.5. So 1 plus 0.5 means that my time and a half incentive is 1.5. So my rate, I multiply by 1.5. Double time makes a lot of sense. I've got to multiply it by 2. I'm earning double. And then double time a half is just the 2 plus the 0.5. So whatever my hourly wage is, I multiply it by 2.5. This is usually going to be overtime or a public holiday that's also on a weekend. So it's a super undesirable shift, but you will make a lot of cash working these shifts. The standard questions that you are going to get asked for this is, hey, how much money did you earn for the week if you earned different wages at different times throughout the week? So in this example, our hourly base rate is $18.50. We've worked 6 hours at $18.50, just normal. We've worked 3 hours at time and a half and 2 hours at double time. How much should I earn for the whole week? We're going to do this in 3 different steps. Work them all out in one step, just one multiplication, and then we're going to add them together at the end. I think this is the easiest way. You could do it all in one calculator, but you'll need to use brackets. So to find out how much we got paid for our normal shifts, we just have to multiply our $18.50 by the amount of hours we worked, which is 6. This is equal to $111, and that's our baseline rate. Then we've worked 3 hours at time and a half. So I'm going to do 3 multiplied by $18.50, and then I'm going to multiply that by my boost or my incentive, 1.5. This is equal to $83.25. We can see that 3 hours is half of 6, obviously, but $83 is much closer to 111 than half. We got paid more money, so it was worth more for us to do. Finally, this last one, we've got 2 hours at double time. So 2 times $18.50, the 2 hours times my wage, multiplied by my incentive boost, or times 2 again. So really, I'm doing $18.50 times 4 to get my final answer. This is equal to $74. And again, you can see that that's a lot closer to 83, even though I'm working 1 hour less. Finally, to find out my total amount of money for that week, 111 plus that $83.25 plus that 74 is going to give me my total amount. This is equal to $268.25, and that's my final answer. Again, you can do it in one step. You just got to be really clear about your brackets, but I think doing it this way, 6 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, and then adding them up at the end is the easiest way to show your teacher that you fully understand what's happening. Another way to think about this is how many normal hours would I have to work in order to make the same amount of money? This is the calculus that I usually do when I'm taking time and a half or incentive pays back when I was working casually. So for this one, I've got 5 hours at time and a half. How many normal hours would I have to work? All I have to do is multiply it by the incentive, 5 times 1.5. This is equal to 7.5 hours. What this is saying is I would earn the exact same amount for 7.5 hours at normal pay than I would at 5 hours at time and a half. Clearly 5 hours is better to work less, so we can kind of work out what shifts are worth taking based on this equation. With these questions, we actually don't need to know the rate. All we've got to do is find out how many normal hours would it be equal to. So for this one, I've got 10 normal hours, 8 hours at time and a half, and 6 hours at double time and a half. How many normal hours is that? So the normal hours, 10 times my normal rate times 1 is just 10 hours. Then I've got to do 8 multiplied by 1.5, or my time and a half. This is equal to 12. So already those 8 hours are more valuable than that 10 hours I worked at the start. Now I've just got my double time and a half, the big one. These shifts do earn you a lot of money. 6 times 2.5 is equal to 15. So I'm making 5 hours more pay for working 4 hours less. So really you're making a 9-hour bonus, which is a pretty good thing to look at. Now my total amount of normal hours for these shifts is just those numbers plus together. 10 plus 12 plus 15 is 37 hours of normal pay that I got for way less work. If we did add those up, I've got 10 plus 8 plus 6, so I've worked for 24 hours. So the difference between these two things is 13 hours of free time that I've basically got, but I have been paid for. So looking at these incentives at your work is incredibly important because it'll save you time, but won't cost you money. Thanks so much for watching this lesson, guys, and I'll see you later.